Hello, and today we are going to talk about system of linear inequalities. So yesterday you watched a video on how to graph a linear inequality. Now we are going to do a lesson on a system of them. Okay? So a system of linear inequalities is two or more linear inequalities together. And the solution is the overlapping area of the two inequalities. So make sure you have this written down in your notes. So let's look at these together, and I'm going to move that stuff out of the way and scroll this down just a little bit. There we go. So I have the inequalities y is greater than 3x plus 2 and y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2. So I'm going to do these in two different colors. I'm going to do one in red, and I'm going to, I'll label this one the red one. So pen, red, this is going to be my red line, and I'm going to graph that one first. So y is greater than 3x plus 2, so I'm going to graph 3x plus 2. So here's 2, and I go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. And I notice that the inequality is greater than, so therefore my line is going to be dotted or dashed. And y is greater than 3x plus 2. So since it's greater than, I'm going to shade above the line. I'm going to color that whole half red. Also, use a ruler when you're drawing the lines. It helps out a lot. Right, now I'm going to look at my second equation. My second equation is y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x plus 2. So I'm going to do this one in blue. So the y-intercept's at 2, and the slope is negative 2/3. So I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. Down 2 to the right 3. And this inequality sign is less than or equal to, so the equal to tells me I'm going to make my line solid as such. And then the inequality sign says less than or equal to, so it's everything below the line. And so the solution I'm going to do in purple, because if you mix red and blue together, it gets purple. It's right where the two areas overlap. So I'm going to color in the area where they overlap in purple. And any points in this area is going to be a solution. Any point in this purple area is a solution to these inequalities. And you can test that with any of the points. Alright, so I want you guys on your own right now to try and graph these two inequalities. Y is less than negative x plus 3 and y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1. Pause the video, graph these on your own, and then I will go and from there and do it on my own. So y is less than negative x plus 3, I'm going to do that in red. I'm going to start at positive 3. The slope is negative 1, so I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And it's less than, so it's going to be a dashed line. Oops. A little haywire. Here we go. And that's what our line looks like. And it's less than it, so it's everything below the line. Now in blue, I'm going to do the other equation. Y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 1. So here's 1, and the slope is 2, so I rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, 1. If it's greater than or equal to, it's a solid line. And it's everything above the line, because it's greater than or equal to. So it's everything there. And so in purple, where they overlap, is our solution. That's our solution right here. Now, when we solve system of linear equations, remember the solution is where the two lines intersected. Well, that was only for linear equations. This is linear inequalities. So the point where the two lines intersect really don't matter. So we don't have to worry about their intersection point. All we're looking at is the area shaded. And so where they overlap is your solution. Sometimes when we're solving these problems, we have to put them in slope-intercept form. And by putting them in slope-intercept form, it's going to make graphing linear inequalities much easier. So, if I have 4x minus 2y is greater than negative 10, let's solve this for y. Because remember, it's got to be y, and then your inequality sign, and then your x variable, and the y-intercept. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. And I get negative 2y is greater than negative 4x minus 10. And then to solve for y, I'm going to divide everything by negative 2. But be careful when you're dividing by a negative or multiplying by a negative, for that sake. Whenever we divide by a negative, our inequality sign is going to flip. So before it was greater than, but I divide by negative 2, so now it's less than. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2x, and then negative 10 divided by negative 2 is positive 5. So the actual inequality is y is less than 2x plus 5. And now this is much easier to read than 4x minus 2y is greater than negative 10. So I'm going to do my first equation, y is greater than or equal to x plus 4 in red. So find 4 on the y-axis, because that's my intercept. And it's rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1. And since it's greater than or equal to, it's going to be a solid line. As such. Because everything on that line is included in the solution. And y is greater than or equal to x plus 4, so it's greater than, so I'm going to shade above. And then the other equation, y is less than 2x plus 5. We'll find 5 on the y-axis, and the slope is rise 2, run 1. Rise 2, run 1. And since it's less than, it's going to be dashed or dotted, however you want to say it. As such. And that one is less than as well, so that's everything in this half. So the area that they overlap is actually the little section up here. All right, try this next one on your own. Okay, pause the video if you need to, keep going, but I'm going to solve this system of linear inequalities. So, my second inequality is not in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides because I have minus 3x on the left side. And then I'm going to divide by negative 2. But since I'm dividing by negative 2, my inequality sign is going to flip. So now it's less than or equal to. And it's negative 3 halves x minus 3. Now that's an easier inequality to work with. So y is less than 2x plus 4. I'm going to graph that. Slope is 2, so I'm going to rise 2, my intercept's 4. It's less than, so it's a dashed line. And it's everything below the line. And then my other equation is y is less than or equal to negative 2/3 x minus 3. So if I graph that, here's minus 3, and the slope is negative 3 halves. And since it's less than or equal to, it's a solid line. And it's everything below that. So the area that they're overlapping is right here. Alright, and so the last thing I want you guys to write down before answering the quiz question is that if two inequalities do not have an overlapping area, there is no solution. So what I want you guys to think about is, when would you graph two lines where their inequality has no solution? That's your question for for tonight. I want you to think, when does this happen? When would this happen? Okay, so your quiz question is y is less than 3x plus 2 and y is greater than negative 2x minus 1. So we will talk about that. We will start off tomorrow by going over this and practicing graphing linear inequalities and system of inequalities. And make sure you have this written down. If two inequalities do not have an overlapping area, there is no solution. We'll talk about that tomorrow as well. Take some good notes, and I will see you tomorrow.